Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. Today I will show you how to make the best lightning build in Wolong Fallen Dynasty. S tier category, the best weapons, gear, and spells to use. If you haven't noticed already, this build is heavily inspired by Raiden from the Mortal Kombat series. Raiden is the god of thunder, and just like Raiden, this build gives you full control over lightning. Lightning is a very powerful status effect in Wolong Fallen Dynasty because it allows you to crush enemy spirit. High damage lightning abilities combined with very quick, very fast, lightning imbued melee attacks is what this build's all about. Since Raiden's primary weapon is a staff, I really wanted to use one on this build, and I have to say these staffs in Wolong Fallen Dynasty are very satisfying to use. Since my character has mastered the wood and metal virtue, I also added poison as a status effect on this build. And let me tell you guys, poison and lightning is a very deadly combination. The poison on this build will do damage over time, paired with lightning, which affects an enemy's spirit bar over time. In addition to that, we can enchant our staff with lightning, altogether giving us multiple sources of damage, making this one of the best lightning builds in Wolong Fallen Dynasty. The first thing I want to do is show you guys my character's stats. Now, if you look to the left here, I am currently level 136, and the two main virtues that I am focusing on for this build is the wood virtue and the metal virtue. The wood virtue affects HP and the amount of spirit lost when attacked, and it also increases spell duration, which works great for this build. The metal virtue affects the duration that a high level of spirit can be maintained for, and the spirit consumed by wizardry spells. I also added 10 points into the Earth virtue just to help me reach A tier agility. Now, if you remember from my last video, A tier agility is going to make deflecting a lot easier, and also you won't waste any spirit when you dodge. Looking at these stats on the right here, I currently have 894 HP. Our staff attack power is 578, which is very high. We have our staff fully upgraded. 474 defense. 148.1% spell duration, which is great, 68.3% wizardry spell spirit consumption rate, and just like I mentioned a second ago, A tier agility. If you look at the very bottom here, you can see our wood elemental ability is very high at 332. Our lightning attack power on this build is plus 76. Lightning attack power increases lightning damage and status effect accumulation. We also have plus 31% shock accumulation on enemies and plus 31% poison accumulation on enemies. These are the two main status effects on this build. The main weapon that I'm using on this build is a 4-star white wooden cudgel plus 9 fully upgraded. 578 attack power, and if you look at the scaling here, we have A+ scaling for the wood virtue and A- scaling for the metal virtue, making this a perfect weapon for a Raiden lightning build. The first martial arts special effect on this staff is Dragon Tail Whip. Spin your weapon, attacking your surroundings. The next martial arts ability I have here is called Falcon Strike. Now, to be honest with you guys, I don't use this one as much just because it takes too long to initiate. The description reads, jump up while launching an enemy, then bring your weapon back down with a thud. For this staff, I have plus 3.5% spirit gain from normal attacks, plus 19 lightning attack power, and plus 3.1% lightning damage. Another great weapon to use on this build if you don't feel like using a staff is the Ritual Sword of Chaos. I have a 4-star plus 9 sword here with 572 attack power. You can see here A+ scaling with the metal virtue and A- scaling with the wood virtue. This sword has a unique martial arts ability called Sword of Chaos. Create a sword of demonic chi and strike with it. It also has an additional effect, enhances damage and prevents staggering from incoming attacks except for powerful attacks by enemies. For my helmet, I am using a 5-star Lead Tiger Servant Cap plus 8. Now keep in mind, 5-star gear is only obtainable in New Game Plus, and this is the best gear in the game. We have 109 defense, and if we look at the special effects below, we get plus 19 attack power, power gain upon fatal strike, so every time we perform a fatal strike on an enemy, we are going to increase our overall attack damage. We also have plus 7.9% shock accumulation on enemies, plus 2.6% melee attack damage, and plus 7.9% poison accumulation on enemies. For the chest piece, I have 5-star General of Man armor, fully upgraded +9, 177 defense, and if we look at the stats below, we have +19 lightning attack power, +7.9% shock accumulation on enemies, +3.4% lightning damage, +19 lightning resistance, and +7.9% poison accumulation on enemies. For the gauntlets, I have 4-star Warlock armlets, +8, 74 defense, and for the special effects, we have -2.6% Wizardry spell consumption, +7.3% shock accumulation on enemies, +3.3% fatal strike damage, +7.3% poison accumulation on enemies, and +17 lightning resistance. And last but not least, for the legs, we have 5-star Warlock leglets, fully upgraded, +9. We have 104 defense, and for the special effects, we have +4% Wizardry spell damage, +2.8% negative effect duration on enemies, +7.9% shock accumulation on enemies, +19 lightning attack power, and last but not least, +7.9% poison accumulation on enemies. I think the best divine beast to use for this build is obviously going to be Qing Long. Summoning Qing Long will apply lightning damage to your weapon, increase spirit gain from attacks, and decrease HP damage taken. Next, let's take a look at the wizardry spells that I'm using on this build, which is very important, okay? The first spell here, which is going to be your main lightning ranged ability, is called Heaven's Rage. I think Heaven's Rage does the most damage out of all the lightning abilities. Heaven's Rage calls down many bolts of lightning to strike the enemy in front of you. Next, we obviously want to enchant our weapon with lightning, which is exactly why we are using the lightning weapon spell. For a certain period of time, enchant your current melee weapon with lightning, and this pairs very well with the staff on this build. Venomous Discharge is going to be your best option for applying poison to your enemies. Venomous Discharge releases bubbles of poison that burst and generate poison bogs. These bogs will cause damage over time to enemies touching them. The last spell on this build that's going to make your overall build way better is called Elemental Plague. Increases the accumulation of all status effects dealt to enemies for a certain period of time, which means as long as we have this spell active, our lightning and poison status effect accumulation is going to be very fast, which means we can kill our targets a lot faster. Now that you've seen the stats, weapons, gear, and spells, let me show you just how well this build performs against bosses in New Game Plus. Thank you all so much for watching the video. If you missed my last video, I did a god tier Fire Virtue build that you guys definitely need to check out. I'm going to put a link at the top of the screen right now. If you guys enjoyed this video in any way, shape, or form, a thumbs up would be very much appreciated. It really helps the channel grow. Also, if you want to see more Wolong Fallen Dynasty builds coming very soon, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on those bell notifications so you are notified every time I drop a new video.